As you probably already know, NBA referees mess up a lot. You can see several times where obvious calls should have been made, but the refs decided not to blow their whistle. Now, normally, these no calls just end up on Twitter or YouTube with a bunch of comments attacking the refs. However, sometimes these no calls can be a lot more serious. In fact, there have been several times when a ref's decision not to make an obvious call has changed the course of NBA history. So what's up, guys? Mike here. Today we are going to be looking at 5 calls that potentially cost teams NBA championships. Yes, all of these calls took place in crucial playoff games, and I am not exaggerating one bit when I say that if these calls were made, NBA history could have been rewritten. Before we get started, I do want to say if you like this video, make sure to leave a like. You guys have been killing it with likes lately, and it helps out so much. So thank you for that. And for now, let's jump into the video. We are looking at the Chicago Bulls Boston Celtics playoff series in 2009, a series that was one of the more exciting back and forth ferocious affairs in recent memory, because despite the fact that the Bulls were just the 7th seed in the playoffs in 2009, a rookie Derrick Rose would emerge as a future superstar during this first round matchup, while Joakim Noah and Ben Gordon would also make big time contributions, which meant due to the Bulls' surprising play and the fact that Kevin Garnett was injured for this series, headed into game 5, these two teams were shockingly tied at 2 games apiece. And in game 5, Chicago was down by 2 points in overtime. This was after Paul Pierce hit a beautiful mid-range jump shot over John Salmons, and then with the Bulls down by 2,
Marbury has come in the game. Miller, a wide open lane to the rack. Knocked away. There was a block. Foul. And a foul.
On this play, you can see that Ben Gordon is clearly the first option, but the Celtics double team him quickly. This leaves Brad Miller wide open at the top of the key. Miller would get the ball and drive to the lane to tie the game. However, as he went up, Rajon Rondo would hit Brad Miller across the face. Somehow, though, this play was called a common foul instead of a flagrant, which, considering that Brad Miller was hit in the face, is the no call that would change this game. Because of this no call, after Brad Miller would miss his first free throw attempt, he was forced to miss his second on purpose, as a rebound and basket was the only way Chicago had a chance to tie this game. As you can see, things did not work out for the Bulls, and the Celtics won this game. Now, of course, if this play was ruled a flagrant, Chicago would have been given more free throws, and the outcome of this game could have changed. And I mean, Brad Miller was hit in the face and would actually receive 10 stitches after this game, so I have no idea how this was not a flagrant. It makes absolutely no sense. Bulls head coach at the time, Vinny Del Negro, definitely agreed, stating, quote, "It definitely is a flagrant foul. When a guy gets hit in the mouth and gets 10 stitches, hopefully the officiating is consistent for both sides." Still though, the Bulls would lose this game, but would go on to win game 6 to tie the series. This game included 23 points and 10 rebounds from Brad Miller, but Chicago would ultimately fall in 7 games. With this said, if the Bulls had prevailed in game 5 and still won game 6, they would have advanced to play an Orlando Magic team that the Celtics lost to in 7 games. The Magic would make it all the way to the NBA Finals, so it is certainly not out of the question to think that if a flagrant foul had been called, there is a chance that Chicago takes down the Celtics, takes down the Orlando Magic, and a rookie Derrick Rose could have led the Bulls on an incredible playoff run. That did not happen though, so instead, continuing on, it is now Memorial Day during the 2008 season, and the Spurs and Lakers were in an intense game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Los Angeles was looking to take a 3-1 lead in the series, and with 50.8 seconds left, they were up by 7 points. It was at this point, however, that somehow the Spurs would mount a shocking comeback, as after Pau Gasol missed 2 free throws, Manu Ginobili would hit a 3 to cut the Lakers' lead to 4. Then, with 28.1 seconds left, Tony Parker would drive to the basket and make this a 2-point game on a layup that was ruled a goaltend. From there, the Lakers had a chance to put away this game.
Remaining on the 4th, just 2 on the shot clock. Here's Bryant with a catch and shoot. Comes up short. And the Spurs take timeout.
But as you could see, Kobe would miss a jump shot, and so after Tim Duncan secured the rebound, Greg Popovich would call a timeout with 2.1 seconds left. This meant that the Spurs now had a chance to complete one of the most incredible playoff comebacks in NBA history. Here is what happened.
Remaining, there is. Horry gets to Barry. Here's Barry, fires one up. And that is it. Well, he thought he was fouled.
As you just saw, the task of winning this game was given to Brent Barry, who got the ball at the top of the key and hit Derek Fisher with a pump fake that caught Fisher in the air. And with Fisher in the air, Barry would then dribble to put a shot up and certainly drew contact. However, no call was made and this game was over. At the very least, when looking at this play, this is a clear foul before the shot was put up, and you can certainly make an argument that this was also a shooting foul. The NBA themselves would even acknowledge that this was a foul, stating, quote, "With the benefit of instant replay, it appears a foul call should have been made." And the story gets even more intriguing as the referee closest to this play was none other than Joey Crawford. Crawford had a bad history with the Spurs, and many thought he was out to get San Antonio. Evidence of this took place in moments such as the time that Joey Crawford threw Tim Duncan out of the game for simply laughing on the sidelines, an ejection that is considered by many to be the worst in NBA history. Regardless of that, the end result of this no call was that the Lakers would eventually go on to win this game, and overall they would win this series, reaching the NBA Finals. But what if this play had been called a shooting foul? The Spurs would have had a chance to win this game and tie the series, and could have used this newfound momentum to take down the Lakers and reach the finals themselves. From there, they very possibly could have beaten the Boston Celtics, which would have added yet another championship to the San Antonio Spurs semi-dynasty we saw throughout the Tim Duncan years. Thanks to Joey Crawford, however, we never got to see what would have happened. Continuing on here, we have another Lakers missed call, as it is generally agreed upon in the basketball community that the Lakers-Kings series in 2002 was suspicious to say the least. And what I mean by that is that many people believe it was fixed for the Lakers to win. There is a lot of proof surrounding this conspiracy. I have actually made a video on this already. However, there is one place specifically that stands out above the rest. As with the Lakers up 103-100 in Game 6, Hedo Turkoglu would hit a running layup for the Kings to cut the deficit to 1 with 12.5 seconds left. This meant Sacramento had to foul. However,
Hedo Turkoglu is able to hit on the drive, and here's Christie on the foul once again. Kobe Bryant will go to the line.
Yes, we can clearly see that Kobe went a little too hard here and elbowed Mike Bibby in the face. An elbow that should have resulted in an offensive foul. However, no foul was called, and so Doug Christie was forced to foul Kobe, who then made both of his free throws. Mike Bibby did have one more chance to tie this game, but he would miss a 27-foot three-point shot, and the Lakers would push this series to 7 games. But of course, what if Kobe had been called for an offensive foul? Obviously, the Kings would have then had a chance to win this game, and going even further here, because this was a foul that involved Mike Bibby's face, an area that when hit usually results in a flagrant foul, Sacramento might have had an even better chance to win. Because if this play had been called a flagrant, the Kings would have received 2 shots and the ball back with a potential lead. That means they could have closed out the series right there. Instead, it was the Lakers who would win this game and win Game 7, and then proceed to sweep an overmatched New Jersey Nets team in the 2002 finals. It is very, very likely that the Kings would have also beaten the Nets in these finals, and so this no call potentially cost Sacramento the 2002 championship. The 2018 playoffs gave us a very intriguing first round matchup, as in one corner we had the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that many fans had hyped up due to the trio of Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and the newly acquired Carmelo Anthony. In the other corner, we had the Utah Jazz, who had a surprisingly successful season due in large part to the effective combo of Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert and a shocking rookie season from Donovan Mitchell. Now, headed into this series, the Thunder were given a slight edge. As we can see here, 13 ESPN analysts picked OKC to win compared to only 9 picking the Utah Jazz. Despite this, Utah would take a 3-2 series lead headed into Game 6, which meant, of course, if the Thunder lost Game 6, they would be headed home much earlier than expected. So now let's jump into Game 6, where
George, it's going to be 3 free throws for Paul George on the foul. Now they're going to change their mind And see, it's on the gather.
As you can see on this shot, a foul was called on Joe Ingles when George was shooting, and at first, both referees motioned that this was indeed a shooting foul. However, the refs would change their mind and rule that it was only a blocking foul. Of course, if he was given these 3 free throws, PG could have tied the game. Instead, the Thunder were forced to inbound the ball, and
Westbrook drives, missed the layup. George for the tie. Westbrook. It looks like go strong. You have to go inside. Adams got it back. He got it back for the tie. Westbrook.
Which meant that this very long offensive possession would result in the actual horrible no call of this game.
Adams. Now here he comes around the ball. George got Gobert up in the air. Didn't get the foul call. Oh boy.
As you just saw, George pump faked to get Rudy Gobert caught in the air and then attempted to draw a foul. No call would be made. The result of this no call would be a 96-91 win for the Utah Jazz. But with that said, if either of these calls had gone Paul George's way, this game could have ended up tied, and from there, who knows? The Oklahoma City Thunder certainly had star power in the 2018 season, and all it takes is one of your star players to catch fire to make a deep playoff run. Instead though, the Thunder were bounced in the first round, and now all 3 of Westbrook, George, and Melo are on different teams. This being said, we are going to finish off here with yet another one of the NBA's biggest conspiracies, as due to the tremendous amount of free throws taken by the Miami Heat in the 2006 NBA Finals, many believe the refs wanted them to win in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. And again, one play here stands out above the rest, as after the Mavericks won the first 2 games in this series, Miami would win 3 straight themselves, which meant that at home, they had the potential to win the NBA Finals in Game 6. And in Game 6, the Heat were up late when the following play took place.
Drain Wade anytime off the dribble. Wade and Nowitzki got in his way. Nowitzki upset, but he was just in the wrong place, wrong time.
So as you just saw, Dirk was called for a foul on Dwayne Wade. However, when we look at this play closely, it is Wade who clearly initiates contact with his elbow directed towards Dirk's chest. Yet somehow, instead of an offensive foul being called, Dirk was called for the foul because his chest was in the way. I mean, obviously Dirk did nothing wrong here, but really, this kind of call was no surprise overall when we look at this series, because in games 5 and 6 combined, the Miami Heat would shoot 86 free throws compared to the Mavericks 48, a staggering difference. In the 2006 NBA Finals, Wade would attempt a mind-blowing 16.2 free throws a game, a number that is one of the biggest reasons many people believe in a 2006 Finals conspiracy. Dirk would get revenge 5 years later in 2011 after defeating Dwayne Wade and the Heat in their second Finals matchup. However, if Dwayne Wade had been called for an offensive foul with 22.6 seconds left in the 2006 Finals, the Mavericks could have taken control of this game, and there is a chance this series would have gone to a deciding Game 7. And in the 7th game, Dallas would have been at home, which means that if Dwayne Wade's elbow to Dirk Nowitzki's chest had been called an offensive foul instead of a defensive one, the Dallas Mavericks very well may have ended up as the 2006 NBA champions, which of course means NBA history would have been rewritten. So there we have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to again leave a like. It helps out so much. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss a video. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music. By the way, if you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are going to love watching. All you have to do is just click on either one of them on the screen right here. And other than that, guys, again, have a great day and peace.